As human beings, we tend, once in a while, or perhaps even more often than that, we tend to do stupid things. But it appears, as you study the human race, that there are more stupid things said and done by young people. I want this to serve as a warning to moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas everywhere around the country, because we both know that our children and our grandchildren can do stupid things. There is some game called Charlie Charlie, and it has taken off on Twitter and other social media. Basically, it is summoning a demon. Now, there are people who will say, oh, it's just silliness, there's no demon, like people who say, oh, the Ouija board means nothing, or. The simple fact of the matter is, we don't want our kids summoning demons. We don't want our kids developing a taste for it. But I want to go a step further, as I'm always prone to do. And that is that right now, we are being overrun with technology and data and the speed of data. And all of that coupled together with the lack of wisdom of young people means that they are in a greater danger. It's like putting a race car in the hands of a 12-year-old boy. Or, pick your illustration. With our young people getting smartphones, iPads, laptops, and the ability to take selfies. There's an epidemic right now of young girls especially taking pictures of themselves, nude or partially nude, sending it around to their friends. And then, of course, their friends send it again, and then their friends send it again. Once it gets into cyberspace, there's really no getting it back. So the question deserves to at least be asked, should we be giving these things to our kids? Now, my wife and I have 4 sons, and somebody asked us the other day, are you guys going to get cell phones? Or actually it said, do you have cell phones? I laughed out loud. I said, no, they don't have cell phones, and they're not going to get cell phones anytime in the near future. And if and when we do get them cell phones, we'll buy dumb phones, not smartphones, really dumb phones. Because the human brain, spirit, soul, our ability to interface with people, we were not designed by God, I believe we were not designed by God to have such an overwhelming flood of information and data coming at us at such an unthinkable speed. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for the ability to take my phone out of my pocket and take a picture. I am. I've captured some fun images, which help with memories later. But the truth of the matter is, they did a poll recently on people who went to see some parks, some national parks, and they wanted the people who took pictures to describe what they saw. And the people who took the pictures were far less able to describe anything that they had seen, whereas the people who were just drinking it in and taking it in could recount what it is that they had just experienced. In other words, they were present to the moment. And if we've got adults that are sitting at the dinner table or sitting in a restaurant or sitting in a basketball game, just sitting there with their godless device, texting, looking online, texting, emailing, they're not present to the moment. So do you have your device at the breakfast table, the lunch table, the dinner table, or are you present to people? If you hear the little chirp, do you jump up to see who and what it is? Or do you have the ability to put your phone on mute and set it aside? That was a long way to come all the way back to be careful of this new demon summoning. They call it a game, Charlie Charlie, but they are trying to summon a demon. And some of the kids think it's a joke and they're not doing it on They're not actually trying to find a demon, but for some of them, they're really trying. And it's a dark spiritual experience at some level, even if nothing more than to get a taste for something so lusciously sinister. Think of the fallen mind. Think of the fallen heart. And then, wow, I can summon a demon and all I have to do is say these words. It's dark. It's dangerous. And I urge you to keep a close eye on your children, on your grandchildren. And watch out for this game, Charlie, Charlie. I'll be right back.
You have two choices. I mean, you can try to raise your children by design, or you will raise them by default. There are no perfect parents. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. If we have a plan, we've got a better chance of getting it right in the long run.
There is something deep within the heart of every human being that longs for parental acceptance and approval. When does a boy become a man?
Get a group of guys around and ask them that question.
I don't think there's a certain age. Some men stay boys their whole life.
I would say, 16, 18 years old.
Wow, that's a good question.
When they get bar mitzvah.
Well, I think when he has a child. So I just became at 56, 56 years old.
Without the power of the Holy Spirit changing us and giving us power over our sin, we can't hope to be the dads that our kids need us to be.